Diary of a Man in Despair. Friedrich Reck. July 21, 1944.
And now the attempt to assassinate Hitler. Carried out by the Count von Stauffenberg, whose irreproachable father I have always considered to be one of the last remaining examples of the true German nobleman. Behind it, a revolt of the generals, long awaited. Now, really, gentlemen, this is a little late. You made this monster, and as long as things were going well you gave him whatever he wanted. You turned Germany over to this arch-criminal, you swore allegiance to him by every incredible oath he chose to put before you, you, officers of the crown, all of you. And so you made yourselves into the mamelukes of a man who carries on his head responsibility for 100,000 murders and who is the cause of the sorrow and the object of the curses of the whole of the world. And now you are betraying him, as yesterday you betrayed the Republic, and as the day before yesterday you betrayed the monarchy. Oh, I don't doubt that if this coup had succeeded, we, and what remains of the material substance of this country, would have been saved. I am sorry, the whole of this nation is sorry, that you failed. But then to think that you, who are the embodiment of the Prussian heresy, that sower of evil, that stench in the nostrils of humanity, that you may be Germany's future leaders. No. I am a conservative. In Germany, naturally, this is an almost extinct political species. I derive from monarchical patterns of thinking, I was brought up as a monarchist, and the continued existence of the monarchy is one of the foundation stones of my physical well-being. And yet, not despite this fact, but because of it, I hate you. Coquettes who flirt with every passing political adventurer. Renegades, betrayers of your past. Miserable bedfellows of that same industrial oligarchy with whose coming to power commenced the destruction of our societal and governmental structure. Obedient planners of the attempt, now gone awry, at burglarizing Russia, under the aegis of Krupp and Company, the very planning of which only reveals your political dilettantism and geopolitical ignorance. Men who have left the realm of all propriety and order. Unconscionable advocates of every conceivable form of godlessness and soullessness, haters of the beautiful and everything which excludes your flat Prussian utilitarianism. Prince Ruprecht told me how, years ago, as an army commander in the First World War, he pleaded with Ludendorff to spare the castle of Coucy, a priceless architectural treasure which lay between the opposing armies. It was really of no military value, either to us or to the enemy. Neither side had ever attempted to use it for military purposes. But the fact that I advocated sparing it, and that I feared that destruction of the castle would only mean a blow to our prestige, quite uselessly, this brought Coucy to Ludendorff's attention. He prevailed, and the castle was destroyed, if for no better reason than to strike at me. But he did not hate that castle just because I wanted to preserve it. He hated Coucy because he hated everything which lay outside his barracks' view of life, spirit, taste, elegance, everything that gives distinction to life. This unworthy nephew of great Moltke and all his caste could hardly be better described. For years, these men were the cover for every treasonable act, every orgy of rape and murder, because Hitler allowed them prominence once again in a debased, Prussianized Germany. They defended him, verbally and physically, every time he committed one of his criminal acts. They went blithely on past the suffering of all the bombing victims, the prisoners in the concentration camps, and the religious persecutors, and they hummed a little tune to words like Germany or the German spirit, because a different regime would have meant the end of their power. And now that the firm is going bankrupt, they are betraying it to provide themselves with a political alibi, just as they betrayed all the others who were no longer useful in their drive to get and hold power. The nation mourns the fact that this bomb did not explode where and when it should have, and I cannot possibly express how deeply I share everyone's feeling. But as to the generals, as soon as Germany is liberated from the Prussian heresy, they should be killed, along with the industrialists who launched this war, and their journalist bards, and the Messrs. Meissner and Hindenburg Jr. and, let us not forget, the whole of that crew responsible for the immense misdeed of January 30, 1933, who ought to be hanged 20 feet higher than the rest. And let the ones who are spared be condemned to spend the rest of their lives selling matches and wastepaper, living caricatures to remind us of how and by whom power was once stolen to bring endless sorrow down on our heads. I can't help it.